think for a tenancy to run smoothly, it comes down to one simple thing really, communication. And that comes from both landlord and tenant, also your letting agent. If you are choosing a letting agent to run your tenancy for you, make sure that they do have open lines of communication. Ask them, what does that mean? How does that look? How do the tenants get into contact? How can I get in contact? How often can I expect the communication from yourselves? And set those precedences from the beginning. As a landlord, respond to communication from your tenant from day one, or from your agent from day one. Set those boundaries of what that communication would be like if you are a landlord that's dealing with that directly with your tenant. So for example, do you respond to calls after 5 o'clock, yes or no? Do you respond only in email? Do you respond on certain days? When do you handle payments? How often do you handle your maintenances? And what those updates would be like. Setting those parameters from the get-go is really important. So for example, us as an agent, we will explain to a landlord when they come, then they bring the market to us, this is our standard communication, this is how we communicate with yourself. Anything outside the norm of that you would like. So we have some landlords, for example, who live overseas. We have to be aware of that because some of them are 12 hours ahead of us. So we're not going to ring them in the middle of the night. We have other landlords who are company based, so we know that we email the secretary a lot on different things, or we email the accounts department when it comes to payments. It's things like that, and setting those precedences from the landlord in the beginning. It's also sort of an education to some of the landlords when we say, right, this is the response time that you legally have to abide by for maintenance. This is what we have to abide by for payments. This is what you have to do for your tax. If they don't already know those things, we'll set that out to the landlord. Again, if a landlord then says that's absolutely fine, but I would like you to communicate via this, or I would like this much of a, this much communication per month or per week, or however often they want, that's absolutely fine. We can tailor that package to yourself. Like I say, if you're doing that privately yourself, it's making sure that you have set that boundary with the tenant and say, this is how we deal with things, this is how we do it. As I've just touched on there are certain things that you have to do by law, so make sure that you know exactly how and when you have to communicate with your tenant and what the timescales are, and in what methods you can and cannot communicate with your tenant. From a tenant's point of view, it's kind of exactly the same thing really, in terms of, again, setting that boundaries with the tenant from the beginning and giving them all the information into, this is how we communicate with you, this is how you can report a maintenance job, this is how quickly we are expected to respond to yourself, and then they know then how they can communicate, how they can't communicate, how quickly they would expect something to be turned around, and things like, if for example you're using a payment system with references, have they got the reference? Do they understand how to put the reference in? Do they understand the difference between a standing order and a payment that they have to set up themselves? All of this is key information that you need to provide. There's over 400 pieces of legislation and law just for renting out one property in in England, not just Wigan. That's a lot of information for anybody to hold. I don't even know them all off by heart. We employ somebody to know that for us. But it's a case of, there's a lot of things to remember there, and you can't expect yourself as a landlord or your tenant to know that all the time. So it is just about kind of being aware of what are the pitfalls, having those understanding conversations, being open and honest, and making sure that those lines of communication are open, controlled, and that they are smooth throughout. Check in with each other. We always check in with our tenants. We're always checking in with our landlords to say, are you aware of X? Do you understand? Are you happy with? Is there anything else we can do? Do you have any questions? Making sure that they have all of the information that they possibly can have at that time. My other piece of information would be, if there is something that you need to action, both either the tenant or the landlord, if it's on you and you need to action, just action it. Just get it sorted, whether it be paperwork, whether it be something that you have to do for legislation, whether it be a maintenance job or an outstanding payment, just get it done, because if you leave something to sort of spiral, it will have a snowball effect. It will start to become worrisome and become a much bigger monster for you to deal with than if you just didn't deal with it in the first place.